Let's talk about human resources. When you hear the letters HR, what's the first thing that pops in your head? For a lot of people, it's paperwork, policies, maybe the folks who tell you your desk plant is a fire hazard. But what if I told you that modern HR is actually one of the most powerful strategic tools a company has? Today, we're going to get past all those stereotypes and see how HR really works.
Right. So that stereotype of HR as the rule enforcer, it is so deeply baked into our culture, and you can thank characters like this guy for that. I mean, whether it's Catbert from the comic strip Dilbert, or even someone like Toby from The Office, pop culture has really given us this image of HR as this, bureaucratic and kind of adversarial department. And look, there's a tiny grain of truth in every stereotype, but this view, it completely misses the real story. Okay, now contrast that goofy stereotype with the actual formal definition. Human resource management isn't about creating red tape, it's about creating a competitive advantage. The whole goal is to strategically build a team that's so committed and so capable that it basically becomes the company's secret weapon.
So to really get how HR operates, you first have to understand this central tension that's right at its heart. It's almost like a philosophical split, and it influences every single thing HR does.
And this brings us to the big debate in the HR world, the split between hard and soft approaches. Hard HRM is all about the numbers. It sees people as a resource to be managed efficiently, just like any other business cost. It's very data-driven. Soft HRM, on the other hand, is totally different. It sees employees as valuable assets, as the true engine of the company's success, through their creativity and commitment.
But here's the reality check. A lot of companies talk a very soft game, right? They put up posters saying, "Our people are our greatest asset." But in practice, when push comes to shove and tough decisions have to be made, it's often the hard, bottom-line business interest that went out. Okay, so how does this big philosophical debate actually translate into action? Well, let's dive into the core functions that HR departments are handling every single day.
A really great way to think about this is as the employee journey. HR basically manages the entire life cycle of an employee within the company. It starts with planning for a role before it even exists, then moves through recruiting and picking the absolute best person, and it continues all the way through planning their career path and their growth inside the organization.
And let me tell you, getting that recruitment step right is absolutely mission critical. Why? Well, check this out. A single bad hire can cause a team's productivity to plummet by a staggering 36%. That is not a small mistake. That is a massive, expensive blow to the entire business.
Now, once someone's on the team, HR helps manage their performance. But the old model, the scary once-a-year performance review, that's really fading away. The modern approach is all about having continuous, supportive conversations that are focused on growth and development, not just grading what you did last year.
And one of the coolest tools for this modern approach is what's called 360-degree feedback. So instead of only hearing from your manager, you get input from all sides, your colleagues, the people who report to you, maybe even customers. It gives you a much more complete picture, and crucially, it helps you see your own blind spots.
And if you want to see this in action, just look at the BBC. They completely ditched their old appraisal system and replaced it with focused, high-quality career conversations twice a year. And the result? It was incredible. Employee engagement in that whole review process shot up to 91%. It just proves that meaningful conversations are way more valuable than bureaucratic checklists.
All right, let's talk about rewards, because it's so much more than just a salary. Modern HR thinks in terms of total rewards. This is the whole shebang. It includes the stuff you'd expect, like your base pay and bonuses, but it also includes things like opportunities to grow, a great social environment, work-life balance, and even just doing meaningful work. It's literally everything that an employee finds valuable.
And this focus on things beyond just money has a real measurable impact. Take the telecom company 3UK. They invested in their employees' well-being by introducing simple things like periods with no meetings and extra paid time off. The result wasn't just, happier people. Their actual employee satisfaction score took a significant measurable leap. So we've looked at all these different functions, but here's the key. None of them exist in a vacuum. A defining feature of modern HRM is seeing all these different pieces as one single integrated system.
Think of it like a school of fish. When every part of the HR system, how you recruit, how you reward, how you develop people, when it's all aligned and working together, the entire organization moves as one.
It creates this powerful synergy that pushes everyone toward the same big goals.
Every great HR system starts with a core philosophy. This is the bedrock, the fundamental choice. Does the company view its people as a hard resource that needs to be managed, or a soft source of potential that needs to be nurtured? That one decision shapes absolutely everything that comes after.
The next layer up is the blueprint. This is where those big, broad philosophies get translated into actual, concrete strategies and policies. It defines the direction, and it creates the rules of the road for how people are actually going to be managed day to day.
And the final result is a set of practices that all make sense together. This is where the rubber meets the road. The way you hire reinforces the way you manage performance, which then connects directly to how you reward people. It's like a set of gears. Each one turns the next, creating a system that's way more powerful than any single program on its own. So, after looking at the philosophy, the functions, and the systems, let's just bring it all home. Why does a well-run HR function truly deeply matter to an organization?
Well, ultimately, it all comes down to this one single powerful idea. The entire purpose of human resource management is to make sure the organization can achieve its success through its people. They're not a line item on a budget to be minimized. They are the primary engine of that success.
And all of this leads to one final, fundamental question that every single organization has to answer for itself. Are your employees a resource to be managed, or are they a potential to be unleashed? The answer to that question, well, it defines everything.